So, ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I want to discuss 5 techniques that if you start implementing today, you're going to be a lot more comfortable with fitting in your fitness and balancing your busy schedule, right? So, if you're watching this video, you're probably an entrepreneur, you're probably someone who's career driven, extremely busy, working 12-hour days, 50-hour weeks, if not more, right? So the whole purpose of this video is to basically give you clarity on what you need to do in terms of fitness, basically in order to balance it with whatever you're doing in terms of work, right? So obviously, if you're working 12-hour days, jumping in, working out for an hour, 2 hours is going to be extremely difficult, right? Most times you're probably not going to find enough time to fit obviously that 1-2 hours of fitness in every single day, and especially if you need to do that 4, 5, even 6 times a week. Becomes very, very difficult to balance, right? It becomes more of a chore to balance rather than something you kind of enjoy and you know you're making progress with, right? If you do need help with any of these things, if you do need help losing body fat, building muscle, then do message me the word GO on Instagram, and I'll give you more information on how you can drop 20 to 40 pounds in the next 90 days, right? So by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what you need to be doing at the gym to maximize your muscle growth, if not even speed it up faster than what you're currently doing while working out less, right? A lot of people fall victim to the idea that more work in the gym, more reps, more time, everything like that is actually what you're supposed to do in order to maximize muscle growth, right? But in this video, I'm going to show you that that's actually not the case. You can probably get a good workout in 20 to 40 minutes. If you follow these 5 tips I'm about to give you, right? So I kind of want to start with one of the first things that a lot of people do not really take into account, and that is working close to failure, right? A lot of people pick up the 10 kg dumbbells, start curling away 10, 15, 20 reps and put them down. They don't feel any sort of tension, they don't feel any sort of challenge or any sort of progressive overload, right? And that's kind of where a lot of people go wrong, is you don't work close to failure, so you end up doing a lot of sets, which are at the end of the day just going to be junk volume, right? And in order to actually maximize your time, especially if you're a busy entrepreneur, busy career-driven professional, you're not going to be maximizing the time you spend in the gym by doing 4, 5, 6 sets per exercise, right? So when you work close to failure, what a lot of people don't actually tell you is you don't need any more than 2 to 3 sets per exercise, right? In order to actually stimulate muscle growth. Now, in general, you need between 8 to 20 sets every single week, every single muscle group in order to grow, right? So if you worked out your chest and you've done 8 to 20 sets in a single week, your chest is most likely going to grow. Any less than that, you're probably not giving enough stimulus, not enough, obviously, time under tension and stuff like that, which is going to make it very difficult for you to grow muscle, right? So at the end of the day, you want to maximize what you do in the gym by going very close to failure. And there's also been, let me just make something clear. I hate science-based fitness, right? Not that it's wrong, but I feel like it overcomplicates everything to the point where a lot of people actually don't end up taking action because they see so many different opinions of, okay, this guy, he's big as fuck, he's jacked as fuck, right? This guy's saying this thing, and then this guy's saying this thing. Who the hell do I follow, right? I feel like all these different opinions on fitness make it very difficult for people to actually get into the gym and do what they need to do to make progress, right? So I'm basically just looking to debunk all this shit, make it simple as possible for you to take action and actually see the results you want. So back to the point, if you do or work very close to failure, you don't actually need to go to failure, because what science has showed us is working extremely close to failure, leaving 1 or 2 reps in the tank, is actually more effective than working to failure, because the added fatigue of working to failure is just not worth the extra rep or 2, right? So with that said, when it comes to working to failure, you just want to do 2 to 3 sets of every exercise, right? Within the 6 to 12 rep range, and you're good to go. That's literally all you need to know about working close to failure and progressive overload. Supersets is number 2. So what a superset is pretty much when you combine 2 exercises together with minimal rest in between, right? So let's say we're doing a push day. Push day is my favorite day. Chest, triceps, a bit of shoulders. Let's say we're doing a nice little push day. and I'm extremely busy. I have something to do, I have a few meetings to get to, and I only have 30 minutes, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose 3 exercises for my chest, 3 exercises for my triceps, and I'm going to combine 2-3 times, if that kind of makes sense. So I'm going to do 1 tricep, 1 chest, and then do that 3 times for a total of 6 different exercises. So let's say you're doing a bench press, and then you put the bench press down, you finish that set, and then you go straight into skull crushers, right? That is what a superset is. Let's say you have 10-15 seconds of rest in between, and then you get to the next exercise. This is a very good and time efficient way of basically working out and making sure you're getting what you need to do done, right? Supersets are extremely effective. They keep intensity pretty high, and the only downside I see to supersets is the fact that you might be fatigued afterwards, right? But we're going to get to rest times soon, and rest times are extremely important as well for muscle growth, because there are a few myths around what perfect rest time is, and I'm going to debunk those in a second as well. So moving on from supersets, there's something called a giant set. And giant sets I haven't personally done in the past, but I've seen, or a lot of my clients have also seen great results with giant sets, and it's something we kind of preach, especially if you are very limited on time, right? In generally speaking, giant sets are not the most effective way to grow muscle, because you are building up quite a bit of fatigue, and it makes progressive overload slightly harder when you're doing so many exercises back to back, right? But if you are, like I said, very short on time, giant sets are extremely effective for maximizing basically the output you get with the time you invest in the gym, right? So what a giant set basically is, let's kind of go back to the push day example. I'm going to do 3 sets or 3 exercises for my chest and 3 exercises for my triceps. So a giant set basically takes the 3 chest exercises and you kind of do them one after the other, almost in a circuit fashion, right? If that kind of makes sense. You want to go, let's say, bench press, then you want to go pec machine, and finally you want to go cables, right? You do probably need a pretty empty gym to kind of make this the most effective technique, but it works very well if you can get it done, right? So at the end of the day, you don't really want to do more than, I'd say, 3 exercises per body part per workout, right? When you are doing 3 exercises and you want a giant set, I wouldn't do more than 3 exercises in a giant set as well, because like I said, anymore it becomes pretty difficult to progressive overload, right? So yeah, that's basically what a giant set is. You're taking 3 exercises of the same body part and repeating them one after the other, almost in a circuit fashion, right? Now this is where it starts kind of getting interesting. We're going to move on to rest times, which is the 4th intensity technique that I want to speak about, right? And how is rest time an intensity technique? One, there's a lot of people who preach very short rest time, right? 30 seconds, 1 minute. Those are very short rest times, right? And if you are doing supersets, if you are doing giant sets, you might want to go lower on the weight and then lower on the rest as well, right? Because you're not putting your muscles through as much as much pressure, as much load. But when we go back to my very first point where I said you want to be working close to failure, resting anything less than 2 to 3 minutes is not ideal for muscle growth, right? If anything, it has a negative effect where you're actually losing muscle because you're not giving your body enough time to reset, re-energize for the next set, right? So if you are obviously strict on time, you do want to rest 2 minutes between sets. If you can do 3 minutes between sets, that's even better. But if you can't, 2 minutes is the least amount of time you should be resting. Because like I said, anything less than 2 minutes, you're not giving your body enough time to re-energize itself for the next set. Because at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to make sure every set you do is as good as you can get it to be, right? If not, then you're just not putting your muscles through enough progressive overload or enough tension for them to grow, right? And point number 5, the very final point I want to get to before we end off this video, is your rep range. I kind of touched on this earlier. A lot of people walk in the gym, like I said, let's say they pick up, I don't know, 10 kg dumbbells or 10 kg lateral raises, and they just sit there and do 15, 20, 25 reps. If your goal is to build muscle I'm going to put this as simply as possible for you. You just want to work in a 6 to 12 rep range. 6 to 12 reps is all you need to build muscle. Why? Again, fuck the science shit. I don't really care about any science-based lifting. None of this shit really existed 50, 100 years ago when, alright, these people aren't that old. This didn't exist 20, 30 years ago when people like Arnold were lifting, when people like, I forgot what their names, but these amazing bodybuilders that kind of came before us didn't know all the science-based shit, right? Yet they achieved amazing physique. So why are we kind of trying to reinvent the wheel, right? By the end of the day, what you need is 6 to 12 reps. And why is that? Because every set has 5 stimulating reps, which is 5 muscle stimulating reps, which are actually going to grow muscle, right? So if you think about it, if only 5 reps are needed to grow muscle, doing 20 reps is basically pointless, right? And those 5 reps need to be close to failure, if that kind of makes sense. Let's say you do a set of 20 reps, you're building up all this junk volume, doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 13, 14, 15. Once you get to the 15th rep, that's when it starts mattering, right? But if you go heavier and you go to 8 reps only, you do 1, 2, 3 reps, and then from the 3rd rep is when your muscles actually start building, if that kind of makes sense. So why not do 5 reps? You could, but that is more towards the strength kind of part of it. So if you want to build strength, I wouldn't do anything more than 6 reps, really. Most strength people or most powerlifters, work between the 1 to 3 rep range. But yeah, we're here to build muscle, maybe get stronger. So you want to stick it in that 6 to 12 rep range, close to failure. And your goal at the end of the day is basically to progressive overload, meaning either increase the reps you can do with the same weight or increase, so you either want to increase the reps you do with the same weight, or what you want to do is increase the weight you do for the same reps. Those are basically the 5 main points you need to know to maximize your time in the gym and make sure you're not wasting a lot of time getting your workouts done in 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes at tops, and getting back to obviously your busy career, right? If you do need any help implementing any of this information, if any of this information didn't make sense, just send me a message. Send me the word GO, G-O, on Instagram, and I'll basically give you more information about how you can lose 20 to 40 pounds of stubborn belly fat or just fat overall in the next 90 days, right? We've helped countless people in the past achieve results like this. There's one here, for example, who lost 30 kg in 3 months. This person here lost 25 kg in 3 months. And if you do, again, go on my Instagram, press on proof, you'll be able to see all these people, all real transformations. And I just want to basically help you do the same, right? At the end of the day, like I said, the fitness space is littered with a lot of bullshit information that's not going to help you at all, right? So my goal, again, basically help you achieve the results you want in the shortest amount of time possible, in the simplest way possible as well. So again, if that is of interest to you, just send me the message GO on Instagram and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.